Welcome, everybody. The last time I spoke to y'all was last year. This is a new year, so happy new year. I'm Gerald Prince Miller. My next guest helped shape the southern movement of hip-hop and built a legacy that crossed many industries. Introducing J.Prince. How you doing, my brother?
Yeah, how you doing, bro?
Good, man. It's a pleasure to be here. Second home I've been to of yours. And I noticed right away when I walked in that you had a picture of Muhammad Ali, the great Muhammad Ali, and George Foreman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We all know the history of Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. That fight, Thriller in Manila, was one of them ones to remember. But, I appreciate you coming, man, and it's an honor and a privilege to have you.
But all mine.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you something right away. Out of all the sports, which one do you like the most?
Well, boxing is my favorite sport in the whole wide world. You know what I mean? I don't even think it's no other sport close to boxing when it comes to being my favorite.
Because I read in your book, and just so you know, I prepared to come here, man. But I read your book from front to end, from beginning to the ending. And I read something in there about you wanted to play some football or something. Yeah, you was interested in playing football. I think after watching us, I guess, who was your favorite football player? Right. But you wasn't a standout player at the time or something.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was at the age of 7, 8 years old. I remember looking at a Jet magazine and I saw the mansion OJ had and the cars, the houses. So that caused me to want to be a running back and try to have some speed. I'm like, shit, if you can make it that way, I want to try to make it in the football world. But, reality will hit you real fast. Small as I am, you have to make the necessary adjustments to get it another way.
Well, I guess the other way turned out to be just as better as what that could have or would have been. So, I want to get right into something, man. This is interesting. It's important. You managing two fighters, am I right?
Well, I managed more than 2, but we definitely have 2 that's fighting January the 31st. And, man, when I tell you it's going to be one of those lifetime memory moments, I'm coming in there with 2 gunslingers.
Yeah.
We're going to shoot the place up.
Yeah. Hey, as a matter of fact, you let me, I had the privilege of being at their sparring sessions and practices, and I was watching one of your fighters, Shakur Stevenson. And when I was watching him, what came to my mind as I was watching him, I thought of chess for some reason. Because I'm watching him, man, he's such a tactician. And I'm watching how he's moving and what he's doing, how he's fighting, how he's playing the ring, how he's playing this fighter. And I said, damn, this is like a chess game. And I was so caught up in it, man. It was amazing to watch him in action. Yeah. And so I thank you for letting me be there for that and whatnot. When you was watching him, I was watching you as well. Yeah. I'm studying you as well. And you look so prideful in seeing him in the ring. Yeah. What was going through your mind in his practice the other day?
Well, it's a combination of things that you think about when, seeing Shakur Stevenson in action. He would be what I call a Picasso in the world of paint. And, he's a fighter that's definitely a technician the way you explain. He's real calculated. So he's playing chess in the ring as well. And one of the things I love most about him is, who he is outside of the ring. You know what I mean? Because outside of the ring, he's a father, he's a brother, he's a family man. You know what I mean? So I'm proud of that. But in that ring, he know how to win, and that's the most important piece in that. He know how to win, and he know how to tune out, the world come to focusing on winning.
Yeah, I know. I was watching and I seen him hit a couple of them guys so hard, right? I said, shit, man, he got power too, man. I can't wait to see the actual fight. Now, I hope I can get some tickets from you and tickets from him, man. But anyway, it was a pleasure to watch, man, up front like that. And I appreciate it, man. And And I'll talk some more about that in a minute, you know what I'm saying? But if you have another fight as well, because you actually have the main event, which is Shakur Stevenson, and you also have a co-main event, which is amazing in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? And so, and the other fighter, Keyshawn Davis, tell me a little about him.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, I'm real happy to be in a position to have the co-main event and the main event. I've been doing this 20 plus years, and this is my first time of having a main event card and a co-main. So, that's like a historical moment for me. Now, Keyshawn Davis is a silver medalist. Both of them are silver medalists. Keyshawn, and he's an interesting fighter as well, aggressive. And, he's calculated and know how to do his thing, and he got a real talent before him. And, I believe he's going to deliver in style. He say he knocking the boy out, so I believe he's going to knock his ass out too. But, the most important piece is the victory.
I had the opportunity to speak to Shakur's grandfather, which was an amazing conversation, very short but amazing conversation, because I was wondering how it is that he was able to, coming from the tough neighborhoods and stuff like that, how he was able to, stay consistently on his game plan and of boxing and stuff. And I asked his grandfather, he said, man, I keep him with his mindset. He don't even think about streets and things like that. You know what I'm saying? He don't get involved in a lot of things. And I was proud to hear that, because I got a grandson who's 14 who I have studying boxing. And so my grandson actually knows who Shakur Stevenson is. And so, and of course his father was in boxing and mixed martial arts. So he's trying to teach his son the same way. But he wanted his son, my grandson, to really get into the karate, mixed martial arts. But because it's Shakur Stevenson, he wants to stay in the boxing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he's actually influencing other people. When I get a chance to speak to him, I'm going to talk to him about his influence as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he definitely aware of the influential status that he wear, and that's part of why he stay focused like he stay, you know what I mean? He totally alert where all of that is concerned. And that's not easy. You know what I mean? It's not easy. Like I know when we come out the hood, it's distractions on every block. So for any man to be able to stay focused and tap into a power that's greater than the power of the streets and different things to accomplish your goal is, we have to respect that and salute it.
Yeah. There's no question about that. And I guess the same thing go for Keyshawn, because I know I had seen, before I had this interview with you, I had reviewed all the interviews that Shakur had, as well as Keyshawn, you know what I'm saying? And I know in Keyshawn's case, he had he missed a weight class one time, but that was before you became his manager. So, but he was very unapologetic about certain things. I know he's changed his viewpoint ever since he's been rolling with you, since you've been his manager.
Oh yeah. And a lot of that credit, is due to Shakur as well, because he was real influential in bringing us together because of the love that he have for Keyshawn. You know what I mean? But Keyshawn definitely, is a man that stand on his own too, and he taking accountability for the past, and he's not going to allow that past to dictate, his future. But, I'm excited about him coming back, man, and being focused as he is right now. And, I believe he's going to kick some ass coming.
Yeah. Let me tell you, everybody I spoke to and everybody that I know, and I'm talking about, because, I did 34 and a half years in federal prison. You know what I mean? And people call me all the time, because I try to be an example for them. Let them know that you can come home, you can make it, you can stay away from the streets and not get yourself involved in things that can put you back in. And they all be calling me, man, and I was telling them about interviews coming up and stuff like that. and they all rooting for him, man, and whatnot. So, so this is a good thing. It's good for not only just the sport, but everybody's paying attention to this moment. This is a big moment. And I hope, how you think they handle it? How you think mentally, how you think that he's handling this moment?
Well, I think mentally, when you've been like doing something since you were 6, 7 years old, you know what I mean? That you prepare for moments like this. But, Shakur he's not new to this. He represented the whole United States of America, in the Olympics, where all the world was watching him and participate in him being on stage. Both of them did, and they both delivered. So, even though, the Madison Square Garden is one of the,
Premier spot.
Yeah, premier spot.
You get the Madison Square Garden, that's big.
They're ready for it though. That's the thing, they're ready for it. And most of all, they've proven they're ready by the sacrifices that has been made before even walking into that ring, because fight is won in the gym in the preparation.
That's right.
And, when you skip Christmas and skip New Year's, making a sacrifice with blood, sweat, and tears, you put all that aside then that speaks volume for itself.
That's right. You're right about that. I wanted to change topics for a minute and talk a little bit about your book. I read a lot about the book, actually. I told you, like I said before a minute ago, I read the book from front to back. And it was so personal, man. The book was so personal and it just blew me away. I just recently wrote a book. And I looked at your book, and my book I felt was good. I looked at your book, I said, "Oh, this book is excellent. I should have read this book years ago." You know what I'm saying? So I got a chance to do the whole thing front to back. Tell me, what was your inspiration for writing the book?
Yeah, well, thank you again. That's a big compliment coming from you. You know what I mean? Because I know during your sentence, you read a whole lot of books.
No question.
It took me a minute to decide to write this book because of, the attacks that been on me from every 3-letter detective police name you can think of. You know what I mean? And it took me a minute to want to do it because, I come from a background and come from a place where, everything that I attempted to do, I was attacked by them to a certain extent. But the power of putting, my life challenges and, the goals and different things that I was able to accomplish and do in life was more powerful than the fear of being in bondage where any of those people was concerned. So, I figured out how to do it, and I figured out how to do it in a way where, it wouldn't offend nobody but the devil.
I got you, man. I got you. Now, it was excellent. It was an excellent write. I actually enjoyed it. I recommended it to some people to read already. So, but I can see you put your heart into it, especially you talked about even your family, certain losses and sacrifices. I applaud you for being so open in the book, man. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to do that sometimes, and whatnot. In relation to everything that you do, man, and all the businesses that you do and the people that you help, you don't just give them a way to come up out of the streets or to make money. You actually guide them in a way that they should carry themselves as far as their character is concerned, their principles. Speak about that, about how they build their legacies, man.
Yeah, no, I think it's real important. And back to the book was a fine example of me sharing my experiences, sharing my wisdom, knowledge and understanding to those that, I'm affiliated with. I'm not the type of guy where I would know or have information for my fellow man to be able to advance or do right or whatnot, and I just sit at the table with him and watch him run off a cliff, and I don't say, "Hey, man, it's a better way of doing that." You know what I mean? So that's who I am as a person first, and it is automatic, with people that I love and respect.
Yeah, I got you. I feel you on that. You mentioned something too, I think of just a second ago. Let me ask you this question. What do you think about, as far as hip hop is concerned, what do you think the podcasters these days, do you think that they're good for hip hop, bad for hip hop, good for the streets, bad for the streets? What's your view about some of these guys, man? The messages that they send.
Yeah, that's like a bittersweet situation for me, because I have I've been attacked with the lies and the different things where a lot of podcasters are concerned, and I believe if the podcasters that's blatantly lying on people the way they're doing, if they keep campaigning, they're going to get elected somewhere down the line. And it's not going to be an election that they're going to be able to smile about. That situation is, it's real deep with me, because I love the hip hop culture. A lot of my blood, sweat, and tears have went to the foundation of creating this culture. And when I see different podcasters, and I start with myself, you got one of them that like to talk loud, and punk out the other podcasters. And, they tell all these lies on your character and assassinate your character. And when it look like you want to, have something to do with them, they call the FBI. I got one call the FBI on me. Call the FBI on me, and then had the FBI to call him and record like they call him first. So this is the type of games they play. And then you got another one, out of New York that, play like he was a victim, but he's a volunteer. He like men. You know what I mean? So he, like the, hey, if you're a punk, then come out the closet.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you got this other one that's, I call him a child molester. You know what I mean? From my part of the world. You know what I mean? So you got all these different people that's, they wake up every morning to assassinate, the character.
Yeah, good men. Yeah.
Yeah, good men.
People trying to help people, trying to make life better for people around them. You know what I mean? And with all that noise. So I understand that. In fact, I'm going to do a podcast on that soon, about just individuals, and I'm going to call some of them dudes out. But I'm trying to think more positive.
Yeah,
I'm so real.
But that's how I feel about it. Then you got the group that actually, you know what I mean, speaking positive from a wisdom point of view and trying to uplift, certain people or whatnot. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. Though.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you recently, when I was reviewing things yesterday, I was looking over your posters and stuff like that. And I do a complete rundown, and I wrote questions out. Like I said, I'll get to those in a minute. You know what I'm saying? You don't know about them, but you will when I ask you. But the thing is that I wanted to ask you about a post you put up, right? Let me find it real quick. Yeah. You recently posted a clip, right, of Jay-Z talking about Scarface the other day, about a couple of days, about 4 days ago, right? I saw that yesterday, and I was in my hotel room. And I want to ask you a question. How do you feel about Hov as a person and as an artist? And why did you make that post? Because in that post, you actually, you didn't just post it. You put up some words that was deep. And I said, damn, that was deep, man.
Yeah. Well, before I even speak on it, I like to clear up a lie where, once again, people know how to change the narratives, where what I say is concerned, you know what I mean? And they got a narrative out there where they say I said that Hov used to have to check in with me before coming into Houston, which is absolutely a lie. You know what I mean? Me and the homie never had a relationship where no darkness attached to it. You know what I mean? Wasn't none of that ever in the portrait where we concerned. And Hov is a guy that, that I respect. You know what I mean? I respect him, first of all, how he's evolved as a father, as a husband.
That's right.
Like overstand where he came from and to be able to evolve and graduate into people of that, quality and nature. Hey, I salute that. And as far as the artist is concerned, hey, I've been listening to him, you know what I mean? I was an inspiration to him, and hey, I think he one of the best, man. So hats off and salute to Hope.
Yeah, I like that, man. Because I was looking at I was looking at your posts and I seen that went up a couple of days ago, and I said, well, maybe, speak on that one. And you actually, by speaking on it, you actually kind of put the person in place that was trying to, I guess, insinuate something maybe about Scarface. So,
and Hope's keeping it real.
Ain't no doubt.
You let that guy, he let him politely finish what he had to say and let him know, hey, man, that ain't true.
Yeah.
You just can't, you know what I mean? You can't hear it, but, Scarface is real.
Ain't no doubt. All right. Let me ask you, I'm going to get into another question I want to ask you. How's your relationship with Drake? Do y'all talk at all? Do he speak to you often? Or do you have any relationship with him still or what?
Well, Drake is someone I consider my son. I publicly spoke about that, for years. You know what I mean? And, our relationship is a relationship that I consider private. And, I don't publicly speak about our relationship in depth. You know what I mean? Because of the history that we have had for so long, I think, there's a time and a place for all things, right? And if there's one thing that I really believe in is that respect, is way more important than disagreements. So, if you could read between the lines, there'll be a time and a place where we'll be able to talk about all of that.
Yeah, gotcha. What do you hope people learn after reading your book and after getting to know you? What is your real hope? Like everything you did in your life, and everything you're still doing in your life. What do you want sincere, real people to take from your book, the things you do, the people you try to bring up? Like what you really want? And this question I was going to ask later on because I ain't finished. I got more questions, right? But when you speak, sometimes I'm looking at you and I study people. I'm a chess player, so I study the person before me. But I studied before I came in here. And what do you want people to take from you? Not just the book, but you in general, overall.
That's a good question. I think number one, I would like people to take from me, I'm a God-fearing man. You know what I mean? If at the top of the list, receive that piece that I'm a God-fearing man. And secondly, I would like for them to take and embrace the lessons of life that's in this book and the things I speak about where wisdom is concerned, because I feel like it would make their pathway, to whatever they're trying to accomplish be a little more smoother and easier.
Right.
So, and if I had to go thirdly, I would like for them to overstand my work ethic, that's tied into my faith. You know what I mean? Because it's one of the, or two of the key ingredients that I, exercise, accomplish every goal I ever want to accomplish in life.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that from your book. Basically, you want them to find something in you that they can use in themselves. Because you're really about like teaching the next person. So you really want them to learn something that they can use it from your life and what you've been through to help bring themselves up, really. So I get the message.
When I'm uplifted, I don't want to tear no little down.
Yeah.
I don't understand, man, like some of them podcasts could sit at the table with some of the youth and knowing that they're about to run off a cliff and screw their whole life up and you don't stop them from saying different things. You just let them, all kinds of people listening, right? But you put gas on the fire to motivate them to continue to go the wrong direction. I'm not that kind of person. My life, and I wake up to inspire, to uplift, to motivate, to be better and do better.
Gotcha. Let me follow that question up, the last one I made with another question. From everything you've been through in the streets, what was the moment or situation that really changed your life or your mindset? And I want you to be careful answering this question, because this is the question that other people would probably identify with for themselves to keep them from making a bad choice or taking a wrong turn.
Yeah. I got a combination of answers where that's concerned. And one of them would be, I tapped into a power greater than the power where streets was concerned. And that was my family. You know what I mean? At a certain age, at a young age, I realized that, I wanted to be about the movement over the moment. In other words, I didn't want to take risks and do things of leaving my kids. You know what I mean? I'm like, I have to be here for them. I can't like fathom the thought of a guy playing with my daughter while I'm away, or I can't fathom the thought of somebody, abusing my son. So that was one of the methods and one of the powers that I tapped into. And also what really awakened me, the sleeping giant that's in me was the universal laws of God. You know what I mean? To really tap into the truth where the universal laws of God is concerned, then you begin to overstand that there's certain things you can't do and get away with them. You know what I mean? I really believe in that reaping what you sow. You know what I mean? So I never, even in my darkest hours, I never want to be a career criminal. You know what I mean?
I got you. Yeah.
It was always an exit in mind, for the better.
I got you.
And, it's thought processes like that makes all the difference, for those that's in bondage in the street or inside the street.
Facts. Yeah.
To always have an exit in mind.
Yeah. My uncle, Supreme, used to say that all the time too. We always try to have an exit, but when you're in that life, usually it ain't too many exits. And if it is, you might not always make it to it. I mean, that's why what you're saying makes a lot of sense. If you had it to do over again, if you had your life to do over again, tell me something you would probably do differently. Again, this is a question that can help people.
Well, one thing I definitely would do differently if I could do it all over again, the money that I made, that I wasted with jewelry and cars and a lot of other different things, I would invest in real estate. You know what I mean? I would, if I had embraced the opportunities that existed where real estate was concerned, I might be a billionaire. You know what I mean? So, God ain't making no more land. One of my favorite sayings. And
yeah, I took that saying too. I mean, I've been using it like crazy. I took that saying. I ain't been saying it's yours though. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I've been using it though.
Too.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. I'm 63 years old, right? I got all this gray hair, man. And I ain't got no hair on my head, really. He ain't got no gray hair, man.
Well, I know how to spray paint a little bit. You know what I mean?
Okay, you doing that, huh?
Yeah, exercise. They give up a little spray paint here and there, and color.
And you ain't even ashamed to say that. You say it either, are you?
I keep it real with myself.
That's right. When you think about legacy, what does the word mean to you? What is that word when you think about not just your legacy, but the people who you help create their own? Yeah. And I say create their own because I've been in your office downstairs, because I'm in your home. I've been in your office downstairs. And on your office, you have a whole bunch of pictures up there of people that you made, that you helped to make great. Mind you, they got their own skills and you nurture them and everything. I don't take nothing from nobody who makes it through you. But when in terms of legacy, and I think I know that some of the answer to it because we talked a little before. Yeah. But I see all the pictures up there of people who became great and good at what they do, whether it's music, whether it's boxing, whatever. So that word legacy, what does it mean to you?
Man, legacy, that's a deep word with that has a whole lot of meanings. Definitely where I'm concerned, like legacy to me is leaving something behind, you know what I mean? Leaving, whether it be land, money, whether it be, opportunities, whether it be a pathway for others to be able to travel a little smoother in life, whatever it may be, that's legacy. And that's so important to me, until all of my thoughts is calculated, knowing that legacy is special and important. And that's why, I mentioned you have two things every day, and that's a chance and a choice. Every day we wake up, that's your chance. And then your choices is decisions that you make every day. And those decisions that you make ties right into your legacy. So, I hope at the end of the day, when I fly away, my legacy will speak for itself. My grandkids, my kids, my friends, my family, and those that I don't even know will be able to tap into something that I left behind that was, inspirational enough for them to, have a smoother path in life.
Yeah, I respect that. I definitely agree with it. Hey, I remember the time I remember when I was at your house in out there. I think it was in Texas, right? Or Kingston.
Yeah, at the ranch.
At the ranch, and I remember we sat down and it's you and me, man. Just went to one of the houses on the sprawling complex and had a good talk and stuff. And I said, man, where all your kids at, man? How many children you got, man? 8 children. I said, they were there, but I said, they don't, you got houses on this land. And I said, man, the kids live with you or what, man? Where they at, man? You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. And what was your answer again? You told me something. I know the answer, but I hear you say.
I'm trying to remember, that might be too many days ago, but, they probably was like a lot of my children don't embrace the ranch style life.
That's what you told me too. Yeah. It's that solitude where it's just you. And you wrote something in your book about being like around silence, right? And I can't remember the exact chapter right now or exact word, but you wrote something in your book about silence and being able to stand in God's silence or something like that. And I identified with it because being in prison for 34 and a half years, right? Around noise all day. And when I was out there, it was, when me and you was alone, it was so quiet. Then you drove me around the ranch and it was pitch black dark. You know what I mean? You couldn't hear nothing. And I said, man, I actually don't want to really live next door to nobody, which is what you have there. There's nobody around there, but for miles and miles, man, it don't bother you at all.
No, because I understand the secret of solitude and understand nature. You know what I mean? Being in the midst of nature, where peace and quietness is like the closest you can be to the Creator on the planet Earth. And when one really make the time to tap into that power, it takes everything to a whole nother level. Your thinking ability is like a cleanse of smog that you receive in the city, but you would never know, because a lot of people don't enjoy being with themselves. You know what I mean? So it's like a graduation to even be able to relax and suck in the power of nature.
The peace. Yeah. That's to me, when I was out there, I said, damn, he got nothing but peace and solitude out here, man.
Some of my most creative thought processes and moments and different things came from that world. Well, like islands and every place where, you know, I could have my privacy and peace.
Yeah, let's speaking of islands, man. I hope I still got an invitation to come to Belize, man.
Definitely, bro.
Yeah, I've never been out of the country, so I might. Hopefully, might be my first one, man. How is it out there? How's it going? How's everything?
Oh, man, you know, Belize is like heaven on earth to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a place that I'm really dreaming and creating, exercising my entrepreneurship where real estate is concerned.
Yeah.
But the land in Belize, man, is I call it the land of milk and honey. I think in the Bible, Moses or somebody called the place is the land of honey. Well, Belize is that, man, and it's cost effective. It's real close to the United States of America, and I'm out there exercising my entrepreneurship.
The weather out there, is it similar to
Tropical?
Yeah, that's all I want to know. Is it rain a lot?
Beautiful. It's warm all the time.
Right.
It's warm. If it rains, it don't rain long. Sun to come out. You know what I mean? It's just, it's heaven on earth, brother. And I've been, like blowing the horn, trying to put it on everybody's radar because I know, you know, they enjoy it.
Yeah, it's still a tourist place too. So yeah, I'm definitely trying to get there. So, hold my invitation, man. As soon as I'm able to, man, I'll be out there, man. Do you want to add anything on, man, that you want people to hear or to know, or anything at all that you want to close out or say, or of any degree?
Yeah, you know, I want to say this, man, because I'm proud of you, the way I witnessed you exercising your entrepreneurship, and you know, after 30-some years of you know, being in bondage where those counted you out, you know, with a life sentence, and you know, the Creator have blessed you to have another chance, and what you're doing with it is what makes all the difference, and that's why I love the quote, "One blessing from God makes up for all the lost time." You know, look at you. You don't look like you done 30-some years. And, you know, a lot of times people, they got this lie where they say experience is the best teacher. You know, I don't agree with that in totality. I think other people's experiences can be your best teacher. And I feel like you have a whole lot of experiences to share with the world, you know what I mean, on this podcast and just through your daily walk. And I hope and wish that people would tap into it, man, a source and a pipeline where they can hear the truth and hear what's real versus dissecting them lies and all that foolery that's going on with others. Yeah,
I feel you on that, and I agree with you, and I'm definitely trying to walk that road that way. But I take from different people, man. I take from you. I take from Nav. I take from LL. I take from a lot of people. Some people I haven't even met, and I look at them, even Jay-Z. I look at everybody, and I see what they was able to accomplish, man. And I remember a time when hip-hop first was in existence. I remember the block parties, the house parties, the turntables. That was our thing, right? And I remember everybody thought that hip hop was going to be that dead. It was not everybody, obviously not us, or not the people who been repping it. But it was a time when it was said, man, that's just a fad. It's just a moment. But we all knew better. You know what I'm saying? And it was forward thinking individuals like yourself and many others. I can name the rest, but I'm here talking to you. That took that genre and put it on steroids for the location where they from, and created sounds of music and crafted individuals to help bring it to where it's at. And so, man, it's like almost like a miracle, man. feel me? And so when you think back and look back at it, and you know from its inception how it started, right? You can only be proud. And that's why I like to be around and spend time with you and others, you know, and I always say, man, yo, I tip my hat to y'all, man. So I tip my hat to you as well, you know. And I want to tell you too, I had the privilege of getting a message from Nas, man, but he said, man, when it comes, he said, for Shakur, his team, all y'all, man, he said, man, wish y'all the best. And yo, do what y'all do, man. You know, rooting for y'all to win. You know what I'm saying? So
good to hear because Shakur, he like Nas. Yeah. He makes sure you let him know that too.
I am. I'm gonna actually read it to him. It's on my phone, so I'm gonna read it to him.
Feeling his nature, where I'm concerned, you know, big respect for Nas as well, because man, you know, when you know, you really know, you know, people that come from, you know, where we came from. And, you know, you was one of those that was a general, was a diamond in the rough out there. You know what I mean? You just happen to take a vacation for a while, but now you back. And that talent that you possessed even back then, you know, I tell everybody, you know, certain street dudes that reach certain levels in the street, we're geniuses. It's just a matter of applying that to corporate America.
That's right.
And that's the journey that you're on right now. So, you know, greatness is right there for you to catch up with it or to catch up with you. And it's just a matter of time. And I believe that, you know what I mean, without playing with words. Yeah. And, hey, man, I'm wishing you the best.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. And one more thing I want to say to you, man. You know, I left out some names. I mean, you know, I said names. People hear me say names, but I made sure that I said people like you. I'm talking about, I don't care if it's the South. I don't care. I don't make no distinction when it comes to hip hop and music, like from what y'all did. I'm talking about the South. I'm talking about the East. I'm talking about the West Coast. There's a whole bunch of people that made this genre, made hip hop what it is. If there's no this against that, I don't even go with that philosophy. That's for knuckleheads to see. You feel me? And so, but again, man, I got mad love, respect, and honor for y'all, man. I was in prison for a long time and been watching y'all do y'all thing and hearing that music, and you know, it was beautiful, man. You know what I'm saying? When I was at you and Jazz's birthday party, right? And Scarface started speaking and whatnot, I had almost like goosebumps watching him, like, look at him, man. He's going in. You know what I'm saying? People put in for this thing. You know what I'm saying? And I give everybody their props, and I applaud everybody, man. Give them my regards too when you speak to them, man.
Oh yeah. And you know, it's the same way with me. When I think about that legacy, also, what was important to me as my legacy is to not, you know, I never want to live a life where the homies in jail, the homies that's free, my family member, whatnot, had to hold their head down when they something coming up or my name was called. So I had all of that in mind as a part of my legacy. And that's one of the reasons I came up with the name Ghetto Boys, because we were representing ghetto boys all around the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Discrimination for all of them. That was us.
Yeah, I got you.
So I'm happy to, you know, being able to live a life where they ain't got to hold their head down with my name mentioned, in spite of the lies that people try to tell.
Yeah, man.
Error.
Gotcha. One more thing I want to speak about, man, before we even close out. How's Larry Hoover doing? How's his fight going in the state? You know, you was instrumental, heavily, you and others, but you were heavily instrumental in helping him achieve the goal of being released from federal custody. How did that go? I mean, what's the backstory? How's he doing, and how is he fighting? How's his fight now?
Well, speaking of fight, you know, one of the last words that Hoover said to me when I visited him, think in the 90s in Chicago, he told me, you know, when I was getting ready to leave, he said, whatever you do, don't stop swinging at him.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So those are the famous words that he said to me that was impactful all the way up until this day, because at the time, you know, I was being attacked. He was being attacked, you know, by the feds. And, you know, I needed to hear that inspiration that he left me with, and the wisdom that I got from him on that visit. I fell in love with the man and his message. And, you know, and I wrote about it in his book, through the threats of all kinds of police people asking me to not, you know, put him on that Ghetto Boys tape where I could share it with the world. I moved forward with it. But even
you got backlash and all that.
Yeah, you know, I didn't care.
Yeah, I read that in the book too, right? About that situation and whatnot. But you still went ahead and did it anyway.
Yeah,
you know?
but up to the day, you know, the present day, you know, we are definitely proud of what President Trump, the relief that he gave him. And, you know, I believe, you know, somewhere in the heart of the governor, prisoner, at least my prayer is that God will touch his heart, and to the extent where he would give, you know, Hoover some relief. A 75-year-old man that people are trying to, you know, tag his past onto him until he die. You know what I mean? And that's behind him. We all have a past.
Everybody got a past. Yeah.
But I'm a strong believer in redemption. You know what I mean? And that's part of my prayer, man, because that's what it's going to take to touch some of these people's hearts. It's hard.
Fact. That's a fact.
Yeah, these devils that got hard hearts, and only the Creator can touch their hearts, man, and make certain things happen.
Yeah, you introduced me to his wife,
Miss Hoover.
Miss Hoover at the ranch. You know, and it was an honor to be able to shake her hand and stuff, and to send my regards through her to him, and whatnot. But yeah, that fight is a journey. You know, my uncle's in there, and you know, and he's trying to get out and trying to do the right things, and you know, we fighting for him, for his freedom. You know, and he one of them guys. You let him out, you best believe this time he won't be back. But the thing is that he's fighting hard to get out, and he got the utmost love and respect for you. You know that. You know what I'm saying? I got an iconic picture y'all took. You, Chris, and him in that picture y'all took, man. And I had that when I was in the penitentiary too, man. I had that picture, and whatnot. You was a little younger looking, you know what I mean? But you still basically look the same for real, you know what I mean? But
no, and brother, we was actually out here in Vegas together, and you know, I had our.
Well, y'all was out here in that picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was like the second or third time that I had met.
What restaurant was that?
You know, I know it was in the Pelagio.
Okay.
I think we was eating some of that Asian food.
Right, food all around the table, looking good too.
We had a feast, you know what I mean? But even more so than that, man, your uncle, as you already know, good brother, you know, thorough, and he deserved, you know what I mean, some relief as well. And, you know, we just hope that the right people, well, you don't even have to hope. I know that somebody's in place right now. I call her an angel, you know, from up above, man, that can really deliver the messages of what we feel and go through as a people, you know what I mean? Because she was there, you know, locked up, and that's probably more different than any other person that has ever been in a position to speak for, you know, our people.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. Her journey is a story in and of itself, right? And I know that she got something coming up on the 19th, right, where they honoring her. And her journey is so real, man. Like, you know, to have a life sentence and then to come out and then to be in such a position. And if you say what you want about other people, I don't try to get into politics too much, but just from a standpoint of being able to feel what we're going through, just the fact that she's able to be in that position to help give people second chances means a lot. You know what I mean? You know, people change, and sometimes second chances are important. You know, in my uncle's case, the judge wrote 2 books. He wrote 2 books in my uncle's case. And in those books, he even he speaks about the type, what he's in there for. And he basically says the people who testified against, the people who was involved in that stuff was bad guys by far. Because, in certain cases, the government give guys, they let Sammy the Bull go with 19 homicides. So my point is that people be in jail, you get in jail for a long time, you're going to change, man. You think, who ain't no threat to society? And neither is Preem. And a couple of other people. You give them out, and you could see that they'll make a good impact. Look at me. I came home. You don't see me in the streets. You don't see me doing anything I ain't supposed to be doing. I try to follow the rules and the regulations because I see life differently. It's like you said in your book, and like you just said a little while ago. You got to start putting your family first, and you got to put things in front of you. And so time usually, they say time heals wounds, but it opens your eyes, man. And when you get up in age, man, you ain't trying to keep going through those type of stripes, man. You know what I'm saying? But I brought them up because I just wanted to know how he was doing, and I'm glad you brought Preem up so to let you know how he's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no question about it. About all our brothers that's locked, and a lot of people, forgot about them.
Yeah.
And it take, people like us to be a voice for them and speak for them, man, because there's so many that don't have nobody to speak for them.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
That's just in me. And I think it's directly from up above to have the courage to do this, under the duress of threats, and you know what I mean? Because they don't want us.
Yeah.
They want to bury them alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I respect that, man. And the brothers deserve acceptance.
Yeah, no question, man. I remember when I put my papers in under the First Step Act. The First Step Act, and I was waiting for them to make a decision. And when they made that decision, and I tell everybody, the first thing I did when I stepped out that penitentiary, USP Big Sandy in Kentucky. I stepped out that penitentiary, J.Prince, and I had a napkin in my hand. This was what I was going to do anyway, so I had a napkin in my hand. I ain't going to kiss the straight ground, you know what I'm saying? But I laid the napkin down there, and I kissed the ground and looked up. I was like, it was a hell of a feeling to walk out of there after all that time, man. And I know I have a responsibility not only to my family, to myself, my family, and the courts and the judge and all that, but the responsibility is so that they can see that people like us, you don't have to fear letting us go, that we can come home and be productive, law-abiding citizens and do the right thing. That way, they can do it for somebody else. So you can't come out here and make mistakes because it reflects on other people. Exactly. But anyway, man, again, I appreciate you, man. Well, y'all heard it here first, I'm going to close out, and I just want to say, man, like, subscribe, share, and you got to see my man J.Prince raw and uncut, and you'll see him again. Take care, stay well. Peace, everybody.